Alrighty, YouTube, it's your boy Zxous, and we're back with another Goddess of Victory Nikke video. And in today's, we're going to be using ANIS with full level 10 skills, right? We did end up getting her full level 10 skills after they gave out the 3 skill uninstallers, right? I ended up uninstalling the skills for 3 characters that I never use, and then I ended up giving all their mats into ANIS, right? Big W's there. So we're going to be using ANIS at peak skill level 10, 10, 10, right? So there's a lot of benefits and W's that you gain from obviously having her skills fully level 10. Right, I know one of the cons for a lot of people right now, or I guess for somewhat a lot of people, is that when you don't have her burst skill at level 9 or higher, you have to use Privity. Obviously, at level 9 or higher, her burst skill is higher than, or you don't have to run Privity no more when you use her burst skill, right? Obviously, would you, like, you basically it opens up the team, right? Opens up more flexible comps for you, right? Because already being forced to bring, Privity is a bit of a hassle, right? And then now, without having to do that, you have more of a team, right? And I think a lot of people, because of her damage, keep forgetting that she's still a sub DPS. So never expect her to, you know, I guess you shouldn't expect her to be your main DPS, right? So when you're running her with Privity and you use her burst skill, it's like 1 bullet, 1 bullet, 1 bullet, 1 bullet. But then when you don't use her burst skill and Privity still on the team, it's just 2 bullets now, right? Without Privity, that goes all the way up to like 4 or 5 bullets. But again, she's a sub DPS. So the point of this team is to get rid of, obviously, your Privity, and then you make more flexible comps. Now I can run a team like this, for example, right, where it's Modernia, Alice, and then, you know, ANIS. So we're gonna actually do it like this because we don't want to use Modernia's burst skill. I mean, we can just to show. We don't want to, but we will. So we're gonna run this comp right here, and I'm gonna show you guys. We're gonna try different comps here, see what's going on with level 10 skills and all that stuff. But yeah, when she becomes full level 10 skills, she just becomes peak ANIS. So first thing I want to see is, the thing is with litter as well, you can run litter. Well, I think her bullets might still be at 2. We'll see if I have Privity. Yeah, so if I had Privity, then with litter it would be at 1, right? So let me just go back and show that. That's what I want to show first. That's why litter's on the team here, right? That's why Privity was here in the first place. So like this, we can now use litter. If we still decide to use Privity, we can use litter and get that attack buff and not have to worry about the ammo capacity going up. Only when we enter the burst skill of somebody else that's not ANIS, that's the only time when it's really gonna like affect us. But as you can see, in a full burst with litter increasing our max ammo capacity, it's still only 1 bullet, and now we're getting that attack buff, right? 860,000 damage right there when she crits, and then 600k on average within the first 5 seconds, of course. Pretty good. And then obviously without using her burst skill, it's only 4 bullets. It's 4 bullets, right? And then I think that goes down to 2. So yeah, now it's 2 without litter. So yeah, that's like kind of what you gain and lose essentially by running litter still with Privity and ANIS after you have her skills full level 10. Still, her damage is insane. We're going to run a different comp where we're going to use ANIS without Privity and without a litter as well. Like, nobody increasing her max ammo capacity and no litter or Privity, right? So we're going to run Dorothy, this comp right here. And now this, no help from Privity. Obviously, nobody to like kind of cuck her max ammo capacity, right? This is just ANIS full level 10 skills right now. So let's take a look, right? So still on, I think, 5 bullets. 5 bullets, right? And then when we use that burst skill, which is right now, it's going to only be 1 bullet, right? No Privity, only 1 bullet. So that's essentially what you're getting for having her burst skill level 9. Is it really a loss? No, for Privity. Like, Privity is a good character, right? So I never like really complained that I had to bring Privity the first time, because Privity was a character who was almost on every single one of my teams regardless, right? She was very, very good, so it's not like it's a massive loss. But then when you're not using her burst skill, it's 5 bullets, so and that's all you got to remember. When you're not using her burst skill, you have to use 5 bullets. This is really what it is. So you do get more flexible comps, but if you were thinking ANIS being your main DPS, no. Like, imagine if your team was, you know, Scarlet, ANIS, and then Modernia, for example, right? That would be a pretty good comp, because you would still have all 3 of them doing insane damage, right? Remember, at the end of the day, even though Anise hits very hard, she's a sub DPS. She's not meant to you know, always be at one bullet, right? That's like, I think what a lot of people keep forgetting. She's a sub DPS at the end of the day. So when she has, for example, 5 bullets without privity, that's what she's supposed to, right? Obviously. And then when she has 1 bullet using her burst skill, that's when her damage racks up. But when you're not using her burst skill, it should only always be, you know, just regular Anise. So when you're in her burst skill, that's when she carries. When you're not, it's a regular Anise without privity, of course. But she still performs great, right? Out damage Modernia, 63 million. And let me put Modernia in the second slot, because people are going to be like, oh, but you didn't use her burst skill, right? Modernia performs better without her burst skill. In situations, right? Because obviously it's kind of like what happened with Neon, right? How everyone was saying, if you don't use her burst skill, it's just because of how like the numbers stack up and all that stuff. What you're gonna see, even with the burst skill, Anise should still hit harder than Modernia. Remember, Anise buffs up herself though, so there's that. Modernia is not getting a buff from nobody besides Dala. Really, that's it. But Anise is also getting that same buff, and then also the 55% of her own attack. So she's basically increasing her attack by slightly over half than her attack right now. So if my niece has 40,000 attack, then she, when you're in her burst skill, has a total of 60 something thousand attack, right? Pretty good. So overall, and there's that, right? But as you guys can see, after this full burst with Modernia, she's slightly over Anise, right? 2 million after that one full burst right there. So yeah, it's because it lasts for 15 seconds where it doesn't really change much, right? That's why I say it doesn't really matter if you use her burst skill or not, because it's her burst skill is 15 seconds. From what I think, from what I noticed, is that's why her damage doesn't really change, right? It's still gonna probably be around that 63-ish range, 63 million-ish range. But yeah, Anise at full level 10 skills is definitely one for the books, right? I mean, she performs like Scarlet and Modernia, if not better, as you guys could see in these situations. So, of course, you definitely carefully want to try to get full level 10 skills. I think that's just a given, right? Why wouldn't you want to use Modernia or Anise at her peak, right? So, look at this gear 5 Anise right here. And then boom. And then even with Modernia's burst skill, okay, she ended up hitting harder this time, 66 million, right? Which is fair. I mean, she's cucking Anise, right? That extra 5 seconds is like taking away from the 5 seconds we could be having to like get more burst skills in general, right? If it lasts longer, we get less burst skills essentially. So that's why you don't really use Anise's or Modernia's burst skill in shooting range. But pretty good, right? Pretty good. Obviously, at full level 10 skills, you do get a lot of things that you didn't have before. Obviously, being you don't have to use privity, right? And if you do end up using privity and you run privity with Lidher, you only have 1 bullet when you're in the burst skill, right? Even though Lidher is increasing your max ammo capacity, there's a lot of benefit you get from having full level 10 skills, right? Just remember that. Should you do this? Of course, 1,000,000%, right? Think of Anise as, treat Anise the same way you would treat your Modernia or Scarlet, right? Or even your Alice, right? Honestly, I would prefer more like to show more love to Anise than Alice, personally. But yeah, treat Anise as if she was Scarlet or Modernia level, right? Because she definitely shows 55% attack buff to herself, and every electric code ally is no joke, right? The damage interruption part is no joke. Strong element, I never really cover it, but it's no joke. Let me see if I can actually showcase that now. Nah, I can't showcase it, unfortunately. There's no water bosses for me to tackle right now. But yeah, obviously, like I said, treat the character as if she was Modernia or Scarlet. I would highly recommend full level 10 skills because it's just a massive benefit for her kit, right? The more investment into this character, the better, right? She's a character who literally you actually see something from like getting her dupes, right? You see a massive change from getting her dupes or increasing her levels or increasing her attraction or her cube, right? The better invested the character is, the better the performance she is. So I would highly recommend getting her to scale level 10. Whatever you gotta do, realistically, very good character. You guys let me know what you think, and yeah, Zxous, I'm out. Peace.